The temperature is being turned up. How concerned is the U.S. at this point about what's taking place?
I think very concerned. I mean, the big issue here, obviously, is the administration has said since the October 7th attack by Hamas, they do not want this conflict between Israel and Hamas to turn into a wider regional war. And whether that means Israel versus Hezbollah or Iran entering the conflict, whatever it is, they want to keep things relatively contained and let Israel conduct its campaign in Gaza, but not allow the violence to spread. Now you have these indications that Israel may be going beyond its borders to Lebanon to target Hamas leaders. The bomb blasts in Iran, what we're hearing from U.S. officials is their initial supposition is this might have been the Islamic State or somebody else. And as John Kirby just said, they're not Israel, but obviously lots more to come in the days ahead.
Well, especially considering Iran has sent the warship, as I mentioned. Obviously, there's been a lot of activity specifically with these Iranian proxies, the Houthis from Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon as well. Is there any sign that Iran is going to try to engage in this conflict more directly than just through the proxies?
Right. I mean, that is really the big question. It's the one thing that everybody obviously wants to avoid. But so far, what indications we have is that, no, Iran does not want to engage. You know, it was interesting, though, the rhetoric coming out of the Iranian government today as a result of these bomb blasts. They said they didn't directly say Israel was to blame, but they said these bombs targeted Iranians because of Iran's role in what they called the axis of resistance against Israel. So they're certainly playing that card. At the same time, you are not seeing, yes, you have the warship going through the Red Sea, but you are not seeing any indications so far that Iran is going to play anything other than a proxy role, which is still quite significant, obviously funding Hezbollah, funding the Houthis, but so far we haven't seen them sort of come out of the shadows and engage their forces directly.
Well, when we think about the Red Sea specifically, the U.S. obviously has formed this alliance, this maritime task force to try to protect vessels in those waters, and the task force essentially warned today that the Houthis need to stop because it's being incredibly disruptive. It hasn't had that effect thus far, though, these deterrent or defensive measures. So where are we on the offense conversation?
Well, I mean, this is the big question that we're all waiting for. The statement today was very tough-minded, and they didn't explicitly threaten military action, but they said that the Houthis will bear all responsibility for any actions that result from their attacks. So in diplo speak, in the language of countries working out these threats, I mean, that's about as explicit as you can get. Obviously, they do not want to telegraph that they might be considering strikes. But we know this is a very live debate within the administration. Do you continue to play defense, as you said, or do you eliminate this threat at the source? And right now, the indication is that shippers and others are not going to be reassured until they know for sure that those Houthi missiles are eliminated at the source. That's a big risk for the United States, though.